Maya stood outside the tall gray building. It was her first day at a new school. She took a deep breath and walked through the big doors. Inside, hundreds of students moved around, laughing, talking, and staring at her. Maya felt all their eyes on her. She was the only black girl in the whole hallway. Her hands shook a little, but she kept walking, her head held high. She knew this day would not be easy, but Maya had faced harder things before. As she moved to her locker, a group of girls stood nearby. They were dressed in stylish clothes, with shiny hair and loud laughs. They called themselves the Queens. Everyone at school knew them. They ruled the halls. The leader of the group, a girl named Emma, noticed Maya. She gave a fake smile, then turned to her friends and whispered something. The girls laughed loudly. Maya heard them say, "Look at her. She doesn't belong here." Maya pretended not to hear. She opened her locker and tried to stay calm. She remembered her mother's words. "You are strong, Maya. Never forget that." Just when she thought things would settle down, she found a note in her locker. It was written in big, ugly letters. "Go back where you came from." Maya's heart sank. She looked around but saw no one watching her. She crumpled the note in her hand and shoved it into her pocket. She would not let them win. She decided she would survive this day, no matter what. In her first class, Maya sat alone at the back. Students whispered and giggled around her. The teacher, Mr. Collins, smiled warmly at her and welcomed her to the class. That small kindness gave Maya a little bit of hope. Maybe not everyone here was cruel. But lunchtime was even worse. Maya walked into the big, noisy cafeteria. She carried her lunch tray and looked around for a place to sit. Groups of students sat together, laughing and talking. No one waved at her. No one smiled. Then Maya saw an empty table and sat down. She tried to eat her sandwich quietly, but she could feel the stares. She heard whispers. "Why is she here? She's so weird." Maya blinked back the tears. She would not cry. Not here. Not in front of them. From across the room, Emma and her gang watched her. They laughed and pointed. "Let's have some fun," Emma said with a wicked smile. One of the girls, Jessica, pulled out her phone. She started recording Maya secretly. Maya didn't know. She just sat there, pretending not to care. The Queens posted a video online, making fun of her. They wrote mean comments under it. In minutes, the videos spread around the school. Maya's phone buzzed again and again. Messages popped up. "Who do you think you are? You'll never fit in." Maya locked her phone and put it deep inside her bag. She stared at the table. Her sandwich sat untouched. She had no appetite now. She only wanted to disappear. After lunch, Maya walked to her next class with heavy steps. She passed by a group of boys laughing loudly. One of them made a rude comment about her hair. Maya kept walking. Her face burned with shame, but she didn't show it. When the final bell rang, Maya rushed to her locker. She wanted to leave as fast as possible. As she opened it, another note fell out. This time it said, "You don't belong. Leave before it gets worse." Maya clenched the note tightly. Her mind raced. Should she tell a teacher? Should she go home and beg her mom to move again? No. She remembered again what her mother always told her. When they try to break you, that's when you must stand stronger. Maya straightened her back. She took a deep breath. She wasn't going anywhere. The Queens might think they won today, but they didn't know who they were messing with. Not yet. The next morning, Maya walked into school with quiet strength. She knew what had happened yesterday. She knew the Queens had started their game, but she also knew she could not give up. Not yet. She kept her eyes low and moved quickly to her locker. Students passed by, some whispering, some laughing. Maya tried to ignore it. But deep inside, a small piece of her heart broke a little more with each whisper. Across the hall, Emma watched Maya closely. She didn't like how Maya stayed calm. Most girls would have cried by now or begged for mercy, but Maya showed no fear. Emma turned to her friends. "She thinks she's tough," Emma said. "Let's see how long she can last." They formed a plan to break Maya completely. The queens decided to spread rumors about her, cruel, nasty lies. They started telling everyone that Maya thought she was better than everyone else, that she was full of herself, that she called others stupid behind their backs. None of it was true. But in a place like high school, truth didn't matter. Gossip moved faster than facts. By lunchtime, the damage had started. Maya noticed how people looked at her differently. Some girls who smiled at her yesterday now turned away. Some boys who waved now ignored her completely. When Maya sat at her lonely table, a group of girls at the next table laughed loudly and said, just loud enough for her to hear, "Some people think they're so special. It's funny." They all looked at Maya and giggled. Maya clenched her fists under the table. She wanted to shout. She wanted to cry. But she did neither. She picked up her tray and left the cafeteria, her head high. But inside, her heart ached. The queens were not done yet. After school, Emma and her group worked on their next move. They created a fake account online and started sending Maya cruel messages. Messages like, "You should leave. No one wants you here. Why don't you just disappear?" Each message was like a punch to Maya's heart. She didn't tell anyone. She didn't want her mother to worry. She didn't want to seem weak. Instead, she stayed silent, carrying the heavy weight alone. At home, Maya sat on her bed, staring at the ceiling. Maybe they're right, she thought. Maybe I don't belong here. But then she remembered her old home, the neighborhood where she grew up. She remembered her grandmother's voice saying, "Baby, you are made of stronger stuff." Maya wiped her tears and made a decision. She would not quit. She would not run away. Not this time. The next day, Maya went to school with a new plan. She would not react to their games. She would act like she didn't care, even if inside she was breaking. She would focus on her studies. She would show them that they couldn't touch her future. In class, she raised her hand and answered questions confidently. She stayed after school for extra tutoring sessions. She helped another new student who was lost in the hallways. Slowly, a few teachers started noticing Maya. They saw a girl who was smart, kind, and hardworking. Mr. Collins, her English teacher, even praised her essay in front of the class. "She has a powerful voice," he said with a smile. "A voice that needs to be heard." Maya smiled for the first time in days. But the queens didn't like this new development. Not at all. Emma saw the small changes happening. She saw how Maya's name was being spoken with respect. She saw how some students started questioning the rumors. This made Emma furious. "We have to finish her before the school starts liking her," she hissed to her friends. So they began planning something even worse, something public, something cruel. A prank so big it would humiliate Maya in front of the whole school. The perfect chance was coming soon. The annual school talent show. Every year, almost the whole school gathered to watch. If they could embarrass Maya there, everyone would see it. No one would ever forget it. Emma smiled wickedly. "This time," she said, "she won't get back up." Meanwhile, Maya had no idea what they were planning. She had decided to perform at the talent show, a speech about standing strong in tough times. She wanted to inspire others who felt alone like she did. She wanted to show them that no matter how hard life got, you could still stand tall. Maya practiced her speech every night, her voice growing stronger with every word. She believed maybe, just maybe, this school could be different. Maybe she could find her place here after all. But dark clouds were gathering around her, and the real storm was just about to begin. The days passed, and the talent show came closer. Maya stayed focused. She practiced her speech again and again, in front of the mirror, late at night, whispering the words to herself. Each time, her voice grew stronger, her heart a little braver. She didn't know that Emma and her group were getting ready too, but for something much different. Their plan was cruel, During Maya's speech, they would play a loud recording, a recording full of ugly insults. They had made it secretly, mixing their laughter with horrible words about Maya. Their goal was simple: humiliate her so badly that she would never want to show her face again. They believed Maya would cry. They believed she would run off the stage. They didn't know the strength hiding inside her. At school, Maya could still feel the weight of the stares. Some students ignored her completely. Some whispered behind her back. Some even laughed when she passed by. But Maya stayed quiet. She didn't fight them with words. She fought them with silence, a silence full of dignity and pride. In the classroom, she kept her focus. She answered questions smartly. In the library, she stayed late, studying harder than anyone else. She started helping other students, those who were shy, those who were outsiders like her. Slowly, very slowly, a few students began to see the real Maya. Not the girl from the rumors, not the girl from the Queen's lies, but a strong, kind, and brave person. One afternoon, while Maya sat under a tree with her books, a girl from her science class, named Lily, walked up to her. Lily looked nervous. She glanced around like she was afraid someone would see her. Finally, she sat down next to Maya. "Hi," Lily said in a small voice. Maya looked up, surprised. No one had really talked to her all week. "Hi," Maya said. Lily looked guilty. She played with the edge of her sleeve. I need to tell you something," Lily whispered. Maya listened carefully. Lily confessed that she was once close friends with the Queens. She admitted that she had laughed at Maya too. But Lily said, her voice breaking, "I didn't know how far they were planning to go." She told Maya about the prank, about the recording, about how they wanted to destroy her at the talent show. Maya's heart raced. For a second, fear gripped her chest. But then something stronger filled her: determination. She thanked Lily for telling her. She saw the fear in Lily's eyes and knew the girl was risking something by speaking up. "You're brave," Maya said softly. "Thank you." Lily looked shocked. No one had called her brave before. From that moment, Maya wasn't completely alone anymore. She had an ally, a small light in the darkness. That night, Maya sat on her bed, thinking deeply. She could drop out of the talent show. She could avoid the humiliation. But that would mean the Queens won. And Maya had promised herself she would not let them win. She remembered her mother's words again. When life pushes you down, stand taller. So she made a plan to fight back, not with anger, not with cruelty, but with her voice, her courage, and her truth. Maya decided she would give her speech no matter what. Even if they laughed, even if they booed, even if the whole school turned against her, she would stand there. She would tell her story. She would show them that real strength is not in hurting others. It's in lifting yourself up when everyone tries to pull you down. The night before the talent show, Maya stood in front of her mirror one last time. She wore a simple white dress, clean, bright, and full of hope. She looked at herself, not with fear, but with pride. "You've come too far to stop now," she whispered to herself. She practiced her final lines. "You can laugh at me. You can spread lies about me. But you cannot break me, because I know who I am." She smiled. Tomorrow was going to be hard. Tomorrow was going to be painful. But tomorrow was also going to be hers. Across town, Emma and her friends laughed as they checked their recording again. They were sure it would crush Maya's spirit. They had no idea they were about to awaken something much stronger instead. The stage was set. The battle was ready. Maya was not afraid anymore. She was ready to fight, silently, proudly, and powerfully. Tomorrow, they would all see. They picked the wrong girl to mess with. The day of the talent show finally arrived. The school was buzzing with excitement. Students moved quickly through the halls, laughing and chatting about the performances they were about to see. Some came to show their talent. Some came to cheer for their friends. And some came for something else, to watch Maya fall. Emma and her gang were ready. The recording was saved on Jessica's phone. All they had to do was press play when Maya walked on stage. They sat in the front row, smiling wickedly. They thought Maya would break down. They thought Maya would run away crying. But they didn't know that Maya was no longer alone. Backstage, Maya stood quietly, holding her note cards. Her hands shook a little. Her heart pounded loudly in her chest. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. "Stay strong," she told herself. "You are not here to please them. You are here to be yourself." Just then, Lily walked up to her. Lily wore a simple blue hoodie and looked a little nervous. "You ready?" Lily asked. Maya nodded, giving her a small, brave smile. "I'm ready." Lily leaned closer and whispered, "I've done something. I hope you're not mad." Maya looked at her, confused. "What did you do?" Lily blushed and smiled shyly. "I went to Mr. Collins. I told him everything." Maya's eyes widened. "You told the teacher?" Lily nodded quickly. "I couldn't let them hurt you like that. You didn't deserve it. Mr. Collins, he's watching them. If they try anything, he's ready." For a second, Maya didn't know what to say. No one had ever stood up for her before. Tears filled her eyes, but she blinked them away. She couldn't cry now. Not here. Not today. "Thank you," Maya whispered. Lily smiled. "For once, I want to be on the right side." Maya nodded. Together, they waited as the talent show began. The auditorium was packed. Students, teachers, even some parents filled the seats. One by one, performers went up. A boy played guitar. A girl sang a beautiful song. A group of dancers performed an energetic routine. Finally, it was Maya's turn. The announcer called her name. "Next, we have Maya Williams, performing a spoken word piece." A ripple of whispers filled the room. Maya walked onto the stage, her white dress shining under the bright lights. She could feel hundreds of eyes on her. She could feel the tension in the air. In the front row, Emma smiled cruelly. Jessica held her phone tightly, ready to press play. But hidden near the side of the stage, Mr. Collins stood with sharp eyes, watching everything. Maya walked to the microphone and looked out at the sea of faces. She took a deep breath and began. "Sometimes, they laugh at you. They whisper about you. They throw stones made of words. But stones can't break a spirit that refuses to fall." As she spoke, her voice grew stronger. Each word carried the weight of her pain and her strength. Some students looked surprised. Some listened with open mouths. Some, even in Emma's group, began to feel uncomfortable. Jessica nervously glanced at Emma. "Should I play it now?" she whispered. Emma nodded sharply. Jessica pulled out her phone. Her finger hovered over the button. Just as she was about to press play, a strong hand grabbed her wrist. It was Mr. Collins. In a calm but firm voice, he said, "Hand me the phone." "Jessica." Jessica's face turned white. Emma's mouth dropped open in shock. The whole front row turned to look. Whispers started spreading. "What's going on? Did they try to mess with Maya?" Jessica tried to argue, but Mr. Collins simply held out his hand. Slowly, Jessica gave him the phone. He turned it off and slipped it into his jacket. The queens sat frozen, their plan destroyed. For the first time, Emma didn't look powerful. She looked scared. Meanwhile, Maya kept speaking. She didn't know exactly what was happening in the front row, but she felt something change. The energy in the room shifted. For the first time, people were truly listening. Her voice grew even stronger. "You can call me names. You can tell lies about me. You can laugh at my skin, my hair, my dreams. But you cannot take my soul. You cannot steal my worth, because I know who I am. And no one, can make me small." The room was silent. No laughter, no whispers, just silence, deep and heavy. When Maya finished, she stood there, breathing hard, heart pounding. For a second, everything was still. Then, one clap. Then two. Then the whole room exploded in applause. Students stood up, clapping loudly. Teachers clapped. Even parents clapped. Maya's eyes filled with tears, but this time they were tears of pride, not pain. She had done it. She had stood tall. She had fought back, not with hate, not with anger, but with courage. Backstage, Lily ran up and hugged her tightly. "You were amazing." Lily cried. Maya hugged her back, smiling through her tears. For the first time in a long time, Maya didn't feel like an outsider. She felt like she belonged. Across the room, Emma sat frozen in her seat. Her plan had failed. Her lies had been exposed. And for the first time, Emma realized. Maya wasn't the weak one. She was. After the talent show ended, students crowded the hallways, buzzing with excitement. Everyone was talking about Maya. "Did you hear her speech? She's so strong. I didn't even know what she went through." Maya stood quietly at the side of the auditorium, feeling like she was dreaming. For the first time, people were not laughing at her. They were cheering for her. One after another, students came up to her. Some shook her hand. Some hugged her. Some just smiled and said, "Thank you." Each small kindness felt like a brick, helping her rebuild the parts of herself that had been broken. Meanwhile, Emma and her group tried to sneak away. Their plan had failed, badly. Jessica kept glancing around nervously. Sophie looked like she was about to cry. Emma stayed silent, her face pale with anger. But it wasn't over yet. Mr. Collins stepped in front of them, blocking their path. "Girls," he said calmly, "we need to talk." The queens tried to argue, but Mr. Collins was firm. He led them to the principal's office. Inside the office, Principal Harris waited with a serious face. He had already heard the story from Mr. Collins and from Lily, who bravely told everything. The queens sat down, looking guilty. Principal Harris looked at them one by one. "I am very disappointed," he said. "This school has zero tolerance for bullying." Emma tried to speak. "It was just a joke." "It was not a joke," Principal Harris interrupted. "You tried to publicly humiliate a student. You spread lies. You sent cruel messages. And you almost ruined someone's future." The girls lowered their heads. "You will be suspended for 2 weeks," the principal said. "And you will write a formal apology to Maya and to the school." Emma's mouth opened in shock. "Suspended?" "Yes," Mr. Collins said. "Actions have consequences." Jessica started crying quietly. Sophie sniffed loudly. Emma stayed silent, her jaw tight. She hated being punished. She hated losing. But deep inside, she knew they deserved it. Word about the suspension spread fast. By the next morning, almost everyone knew the truth. They knew the queens had lied. They knew Maya had suffered because of them. And the students began to change how they treated Maya. They smiled at her in the halls. They asked her to join their group projects. They invited her to sit with them at lunch. Maya was careful. She didn't trust easily now. But she smiled back, slowly opening her heart again. One afternoon, as Maya packed her books into her locker, a boy from her math class named Noah walked up to her. "Hey," he said, smiling nervously. "Hey," Maya replied. "I just wanted to say, your speech really hit me," Noah said. "My little sister gets bullied too. I'm going to help her now. Because of you." Maya's heart warmed. "Thank you," she said softly. Noah grinned and walked away. Maya stood there for a moment, feeling proud. She wasn't just surviving. She was making a difference. Later that day, Lily found her near the library. "Guess what?" Lily said, grinning. "The principal is starting an anti-bullying club, and he asked me if I wanted to join." Maya smiled wide. "That's amazing." "You should join too," Lily said. "You're the reason it's happening." Maya thought about it. Helping others who felt alone. It felt right. "I'll join," she said with a laugh. For the first time, Maya felt like she had a real place in the school, a place she earned with her own courage. Across the hallway, Emma watched them. She felt bitter, alone, powerless. No one cheered for her anymore. No one followed her like before. She realized something important. Respect is earned, not forced. And she had lost hers. That evening, Maya sat by her window, watching the sunset. The sky was painted with colors: pink, orange, gold. It reminded her of her grandmother's words. "Baby, even after the darkest storms, the sun always rises." Maya smiled. She had faced the storm. She had survived the pain. She had stood tall. And now it was her time to rise. Not just for herself, but for everyone who had ever been made to feel small. She opened her notebook and began writing again. Not a speech this time, but her own story. A story of strength. A story of hope. A story that would light the way for others. Because Maya Williams was not just the new girl anymore. She was a fighter, a leader, a survivor. And her journey was just beginning. A new week began at school. But it didn't feel the same anymore. Maya walked through the halls with her head high. People didn't whisper about her now. They smiled. They waved. Some even stopped to thank her. The girl who once felt invisible was now seen, truly seen, for the strong person she was. But Maya knew this wasn't just about her. It was about everyone who had ever been bullied. It was about standing up, not just for yourself, but for others too. And Maya was ready. The first meeting of the anti-bullying club happened on Wednesday after school. Mr. Collins and Principal Harris led the meeting, but they made one thing clear. "This club belongs to the students," Mr. Collins said. "Your voices will lead the change." About 20 students showed up. Some were kids who had been bullied. Some were kids who wanted to help. Some were just curious. Maya sat in the front row next to Lily, feeling excited but nervous. Principal Harris looked at the group and said, "We need a president, someone to lead this club." Before Maya could even think, students started whispering. "Maya should do it. Yeah, she's perfect. She's already a leader." Mr. Collins smiled and asked, "Maya, would you accept?" Maya felt her heart pound. For a second, she doubted herself. Was she strong enough? Was she ready? Then she remembered everything she had been through. The lies, the bullying, the speech, the victory. She stood up slowly. "I would be honored," she said. Everyone clapped loudly. At that moment, Maya knew. She wasn't just a survivor. She was a leader now. Over the next few weeks, the club grew. Maya helped organize meetings. She and Lily planned events where students shared their stories. They made posters with messages like, "Kindness is strength. Lift others, don't tear them down. You are not alone." They even started a kindness challenge where students could earn points for doing good deeds, like helping a classmate or sitting with someone who was alone at lunch. Slowly, the school began to change. Students who once ignored bullying started to speak up. Students who were shy started to come out of their shells. Even teachers noticed the difference. It wasn't perfect. There were still problems. There were still mean kids. But now, kindness had a louder voice, and Maya was at the heart of it. One Friday afternoon, after a club meeting, Principal Harris called Maya into his office. Maya walked in, wondering if she had done something wrong. But Principal Harris was smiling. He handed her a letter. "What's this?" Maya asked. "Open it," he said. Maya opened the letter carefully. Her eyes widened. It was an invitation to speak at the District Youth Leadership Conference. "You've been chosen," Principal Harris said proudly. "Your courage and leadership inspired not just this school, but many others too." Maya felt like crying, but this time, from happiness. She had started her journey as the invisible girl. Now she was someone who could inspire hundreds, maybe even thousands. She looked at Principal Harris and said, "Thank you for believing in me." He smiled warmly. "No, Maya. Thank you for believing in yourself." At home that night, Maya sat by her window again, looking at the stars. She thought about the long journey. She remembered the loneliness, the pain, the bullying. But she also remembered the small acts of courage, the friends she made, the strength she found inside herself. Maya realized something important. Life would always have storms. There would always be people who tried to bring others down. But she had a choice. She could rise above. She could shine even brighter. Because strength wasn't about being the loudest. It wasn't about hurting others. Real strength was about standing up when it was hardest. Real strength was about lifting others, even when you were still healing yourself. At school, Maya's influence continued to grow. Teachers invited her to speak in classrooms. Younger students looked up to her like a hero. Even some of the kids who had once stayed silent during her bullying, like Sarah, one of Emma's old friends, came up to apologize. "I should have stood up for you," Sarah said quietly one day. Maya smiled kindly. "It's never too late to do the right thing," she replied. And she meant it. Forgiveness didn't erase the past, but it made the future lighter. As for Emma, her suspension ended, but things were different now. She wasn't the queen anymore. She sat quietly in class. She didn't control anyone. She didn't spread rumors. Some students still feared her. Some avoided her, but most simply stopped caring about her power. Emma had learned her lesson. When you build your kingdom on cruelty, it crumbles fast. Maya had built hers on truth, kindness, and courage. And it was stronger than anything Emma ever had. On the day of the Youth Leadership Conference, Maya stood backstage once again. This time, she didn't feel alone. She carried with her the voices of everyone she had inspired. She carried the hope of every kid who had ever been bullied. She carried her own story, a story of rising, surviving, and shining. When they called her name, Maya stepped onto the stage, smiling. This time, she wasn't the scared new girl. She was Maya Williams, a voice, a leader, a light. And her story was just beginning. The big day had finally arrived. The Youth Leadership Conference was being held in a huge auditorium in the city. There were hundreds of students, teachers, and special guests from all over the district. Bright banners filled the walls, saying, "Voices of the future. Leadership begins with courage. One story can change the world." Maya stood backstage, holding her speech in her hands. She wore a simple blue dress, her hair tied back neatly. Her heart was racing, but not from fear, from excitement. She wasn't just speaking for herself anymore. She was speaking for every person who had ever been laughed at, bullied, or pushed aside. Today, her voice would be heard. Backstage, Lily gave her a quick hug. "You're gonna be amazing," Lily whispered. Maya smiled. "Thanks for always believing in me." Lily grinned. "Always." Maya took one last deep breath as the host walked up to the microphone. "Please welcome Maya Williams." The room exploded into applause. Maya walked onto the stage, the bright lights shining down on her. For a moment, she stood quietly, looking at all the faces in the crowd. Then she began. "Good morning, everyone," Maya said. "My name is Maya Williams. And once, I thought my voice didn't matter. I was the new girl in school. I was different. I was alone. I was bullied. For a long time, I believed the lies they told me. That I wasn't good enough. That I didn't belong. That I would never be anything. But then something amazing happened. I realized that their words didn't define me. I realized that I had a choice. I could let their hate make me small, or I could let my own hope make me strong." The audience was silent, hanging on every word. Maya continued, her voice growing stronger. "We all have a voice, a story, a light inside us. But sometimes people will try to blow out that light. They will laugh at us, lie about us, or try to break us. And when that happens, we have a choice to make. We can believe them, or we can believe in ourselves. I chose to believe in myself. And that changed everything. Maya paused for a second, letting her words sink in. Then she smiled and said, "The truth is, being different is not a weakness. It's a gift. Your skin color, your dreams, your voice, they are beautiful. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And if you see someone else being hurt, stand up. Speak out. Be their light when they can't find their own." There was a soft murmur of agreement from the crowd. Some students were wiping away tears. Some teachers were nodding proudly. Maya finished her speech with words that came straight from her heart. Kindness is not weakness. It is power, and every act of kindness, no matter how small, creates ripples that can change the world. You don't have to be loud to be strong. You don't have to be perfect to be a leader. You just have to be brave enough to be yourself. Thank you. The moment she ended, the auditorium exploded with loud applause. Students jumped to their feet. Teachers clapped with pride. Parents cheered and wiped their eyes. Maya stood there, overwhelmed but happy. She had done it. Her voice, once silenced, now filled the room. Her story, once hidden, now inspired hundreds. Maybe even thousands, maybe even the whole world. After the speech, students lined up to meet her. Some wanted to shake her hand. Some wanted to hug her. Some simply wanted to say, "Thank you." A little girl about 12 years old, with thick glasses and curly hair, came up shyly. "Miss Maya," she said, her voice small, "people make fun of me too. But after hearing you, I think I can be brave now." Maya knelt down and smiled warmly. "You already are brave," she said. "Never forget that." The little girl hugged her tightly before running back to her seat. Maya watched her go, tears filling her eyes. She knew then every pain she had faced, every tear she had cried, every cruel word she had endured. It was all worth it if it could light the way for someone else. As she left the stage, Maya looked up at the sky through the tall windows. The sun was shining brightly, breaking through the clouds. Just like her, she had broken through, and she wasn't stopping here. This was just the beginning. Maya Williams was going to keep shining, keep fighting, keep leading. Because the world needed more voices like hers. The world needed more kindness, more courage, more light. And Maya was ready to give it, all of it, forever. Weeks passed after the Youth Leadership Conference, but the effect of Maya's speech stayed strong. Students across the district started their own anti-bullying clubs. Some schools created kindness walls, where students wrote positive notes to each other. Others held stand-up weeks, where bullying was openly discussed and challenged. Maya's story was shared in school newsletters, websites, and even on local news channels. She had become more than just a girl from a small school. She had become a symbol of courage, kindness, and hope. At her own school, Maya's life changed in beautiful ways. She wasn't just the girl who survived bullying. She was now the girl everyone admired. But Maya stayed humble. She didn't want fame. She didn't want people to think she was perfect. She wanted them to understand she was just like them, a regular person who chose to be brave when it mattered most. One crisp morning, Maya was walking to her locker when she noticed something new on the school's main wall. It was a large mural, painted by students and teachers together. At the center of the mural was a bright, golden light shining through a dark storm. Above it, written in big letters, were the words, "Your light can break any darkness. Maya Williams." Maya stopped and stared, feeling tears gather in her eyes. Lily appeared beside her, smiling. "Pretty cool, huh?" she said. Maya laughed softly. "I can't believe it." "You earned it," Lily said. You changed this school, Maya. Maya touched the wall gently. No, she said, smiling. We all did, together. Later that day, Principal Harris called another assembly. Students gathered in the auditorium, curious. Principal Harris stood at the microphone, beaming with pride. This year, he announced, we are starting a new tradition. Every year, we will give an award to a student who shows outstanding courage and kindness. He held up a beautiful silver trophy, and today, we name this award the Maya Williams Award for Courage and Kindness. The entire auditorium burst into cheers and applause. Maya covered her mouth in shock, overwhelmed. Principal Harris smiled at her from the stage. You showed us, he said, that one voice, one heart, can change everything. After the assembly, many students came to Maya. Some were crying. Some just wanted a hug. Some told her how much she had helped them believe in themselves. Maya listened to each of them, her heart full. She realized something important that day. Leadership wasn't about being famous. It was about lifting others. It was about planting seeds of hope, even when you couldn't see the flowers yet. And Maya promised herself she would keep planting seeds everywhere she went. At home that evening, Maya sat at her desk, writing in her journal. She didn't write about the awards, the claps, or the attention. She wrote about the real victories. The shy boy in her science class who finally spoke up. The quiet girl in the library who smiled now when people waved. The old friends who apologized and meant it. These were the victories that mattered. Spring came quickly, bringing warmer days and blooming flowers. Maya was chosen to give a speech at her school's graduation ceremony, even though she was not a senior yet. When she stood at the podium, she looked at all the young faces staring back. Some excited, some scared, some wondering if they could survive the hard parts ahead. And Maya spoke from her heart. Life will not always be easy, she said. Sometimes it will rain. Sometimes it will storm. People may laugh at you. They may try to bring you down. But never forget, your story is yours to write. Your voice matters. Your light matters. You are stronger than you think. And when you stand tall, even in the storm, you help others find their strength too. Be the light you needed when you were lost. Be the friend you wished for when you were alone. The world needs your kindness. The world needs your courage. The world needs you. The crowd erupted into a standing ovation. This time, Maya didn't cry. She smiled, strong, proud, and full of hope, because she knew her story would never truly end. It would live on in every heart she touched, in every student who stood up for another, in every small act of courage. Maya Williams was no longer just the girl who was bullied. She was a warrior of light, and her journey was only just beginning.